No, you're measuring the angular distance between a star and a point on the horizon.
A point on the
That's it.
horizon?
All right,
So-
are you going to do it? Or
Sorry,
are you
the
just
point
gonna
on the
sit down and
horizon?
try and play
Sorry,
word
Bob,
games?
stop. I've got about 10
right,
quotes
well-
of you saying the horizon's not needed on QE's channel. It was trimmed out by YouTube also. Shout out to you.
So you don't need a horizon with a sextant, no.
Go ahead.
Saying the horizon.
Go ahead
There's
and either
he
solve
chanting
it
through me.
or move
Why
on.
is he chanting through me? I don't get it. What's wrong?
You don't need
And-
a horizon for a sextant.
Why is he chanting through me? I'm clarifying that you specifically on this show told us you don't need the horizon. What's going on?
So you don't need a horizon with a sextant, no.
You unlock this door with the key of
retardation.
Beyond it is another dimension. You're moving into a land of
Bullshittery.
You've just crossed over into
the numpty zone.
You are so dumb. Damn.
No, you're measuring the angular distance between a star and a point on the horizon.
A point on the
That's it.
horizon?
All right,
So-
are you going to do it? or are
Sorry,
you
the
just
point
gonna
on the
sit down and
horizon?
try and play
Sorry,
word
Bob,
games?
stop. I've got about 10
right,
quotes
well-
of you saying the horizon's not needed on QE's channel. It was trimmed out by YouTube also. Shout out to you.
So you don't need a horizon with a sextant, no.
Don't need. You sound
I
a
do
little bit quivery in your voice there, Bob. You don't need the horizon.
Of course not.
No, you're measuring the angular distance between a star and a point on the horizon.
So you don't need a horizon with a sextant, no.
Hey, I've got a sextant challenge for you in the timeout chat. It'll prove that celestial navigation, which is based on spherical trigonometry, works. Nope, got to have a triangle for that. No, there's no triangle. No, there's no triangle. But you're more than welcome to use flat earth trig to do it. No, there's no triangle. No, there's no triangle.
That we will require spherical trig to do this. Will we or won't we?
Absolutely.
Well, okay, how are we going to do that without triangles, Bob? Do you want to define what trig is? The two different trigs. If we're not going to need triangles, can you define what that means?
Busted! Numpty dipshit! You're a retard! Unbelievable, folks.
Seriously, Bob, you've laid out a challenge, but when we come to clarify how it will prove for sphere Earth, you said we could either use flat Earth trig or we could use spherical trig. But then you've gone on to deny triangles.
No, there's no triangle. No, there's no triangle.
Got a question there, Bobberoony. If there's no triangle, bum sniffer, then why do we need to use trigonometry, which is the study of triangles?
I don't get the... I seriously don't get the mentality that would do this. It's humiliating for you.
Turn out the lights.
Double speaking, tender clown space monkey.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end.
Ballers scattered on dawn's highway bleeding. Fallacies and refravity crowd their fragile eggshell minds.
So what's trig? For the audience's benefit, this dumbfounded silence is what you get when you become a fundamentalist religious zealot chanting about measuring angles on a curved surface. You start denying that you're doing triangulation, or that you even need triangles, or that there's even adjacent that you need at all. That's what you get to. Do you realise how stupid you sound?
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird. The bird's a winner.
You're a clown. Hey guys, how's it going out there? Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday. Got a great one lined up for you today. Seems like the ball-tard spinning space monkeys are kind of spinning out of control these days. What a shocking surprise. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Check out who we got in Discord. I did see the beautiful Betty Van Velsen, Betty Breadmaker, in Discord before I left. She was all by her onesie. Let's see if there's anyone else in there.
I said, shut the hell up with the Betty Breadmaker.
Did you? You were on mute. Sorry.
Yeah. I had to say it again. Although the first one was more like enjoyable, I think.
I seen YouTube in chat while
Yeah.
yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, I gave it away. The trump card. I thought you was from now on going to call those persons Sallies, but no.
No, only when they start sniveling. So those are Snowflake Sallies? Yeah.
Snowflake Sally! It's like a song.
It's time to put your snivel gear on.
Well, it's a mouth mask, isn't it?
Say again?
A mouth mask that keeps the sniveling down.
It could be.
It could be, yeah. So we're at the right times. Why did you say Tuesday?
Oh, yeah, it's Tuesday, right? 2/22, and at 10:22 tonight, it'll be 22:22. So it'll be Tuesday 2/22 at 22:22. If you're into that sort of numbers.
You lost me already. Oh, it's the two.
Yeah, a lot of tutus.
Don't they need to hobble around the sombrero of the whatever galaxy?
Oh, that one. What the heck is that one again?
You used that one. I remember.
That has nothing to do with twos. They need to get on. Who was it?
And the purple tutu.
That's right.
Hobbling around.
Right. What's his name? Who do I use for that? What's his name? Not Engelbert Humperdinck, the other numpty.
Oh my goodness. You really know that?
Yeah, I know Engelbert, that's back in the day. I used to just bust out laughing at his name. He's the famous gay piano player.
Gay piano player? I don't know any gay.
Liberace.
Yeah, that's him. So yeah, I said that's about as common as Liberace flying around the sombrero galaxy on a hobbled unicorn in a tutu.
What's with the sneak attack today, 2 o'clock?
It wasn't a sneak attack. I advertised the show.
And we're doing this almost 3 weeks now on this time.
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock my time? No way.
Yeah. Last time we did. Maybe you came in late.
Well, we haven't done the greetings yet, Neil. Adam, my good sir.
Oh, you just started.
Jeez, oh man, he's going to friggin' rumpus me with his 2 words that blurt out of nowhere.
Did you just start? All I'm asking is, did you just start?
No. We started it at 3 o'clock.
Okay, so I'm not an hour late. I'm just a few minutes late.
Yeah, just a few minutes. So back to the question. Adam, my good sir. We'll get to you, Neil. Adam, my good sir. Hi, how are you, sir?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Running a bit late tonight. I've been at work, so I've literally just got in, so... Not had my tea. Not had my tea yet, no. Still got an empty little belly.
What's for tea?
But I've got tuna fish cake with Tabasco, I'm told.
Tuna fish cake?
Homemade tuna fish cake. Apparently she spiced it with a bit of Tabasco sauce tonight, so it might be a bit spicier than normal, so we'll see. I'll probably get that in the middle of the show.
Well, better than under the covers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bet you thought, what? See, it's always the females. Their minds are always in together. They play like it's the guys.
Oh, You thought it first.
They play like it's the guys, but it's not.
No, it's not, John. I work in an all-female environment, and as the owner, manager, and superintendent pharmacist, I do have to keep a control on it, and
Poor
I do allow a little bit, because I know these ladies need to get these frustrations out. So I do allow it on a Friday. It's called Filthy Friday, where they're allowed to talk about things that, frankly, are wholly inappropriate, certainly for men to discuss.
Oh no.
Their standards seem to move. What I'll say.
Filthy Friday. That seems like that's every day for Betty.
Oh, shut up.
Well, some of the things actually make me blush that she says.
Like what?
I can't repeat it, can I? It's a family show. It'll ruin the YouTube audience.
Well, then there's nothing to be
Yes,
said.
there is. There's a lot of them. I should have wrote them all down, but there is through the years. Not only on the live show right here, there's been a lot.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I've been having to take it as well. You know?
Yeah. We taught you that, right?
Well, the effing and that sort of things.
You don't like that. I get it. I guess I can understand that. You do get that, sort of gets under your skirt a little bit, but
exactly.
Why? Only a word.
Why? What does the F mean?
It doesn't mean well, it depends how you use its context, doesn't it? So if you're using it,
there is no context at all. It's just like a word that you use every 3 minutes, 12 seconds, I suppose.
Yeah, it's an amplifier, isn't it? So when you hear the F-bomb, it just means I've more feeling behind what I'm about to say in after this F-bomb. So
I'm going to say you behind it.
See that I don't have a problem with. People start.
Oh, it's different for a woman to hear that than for a man to hear that.
I don't necessarily talk like that per se all the time, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I don't find offence in it. I don't. What I find offence is like when Neil starts misquoting the Bible, or if people blaspheme or take stuff out, whether it's Christian stuff or stuff like that. If they're having a go at things like that, that's when I don't like it. But just standard words, which are just vernacular, really, which is just putting more emotion into what you're saying. I don't.
I hate it. It's
the C word.
Words aren't just enough. Why use the amplifier that is so revolting to hear that you lose your basically your listeners?
I don't know what it is. Hold on, Adam. I don't know what it is, but Adam's right. It's like it. I use it more of it makes things poignant, right?
Oh, come on, it's not. It's never does that.
Yes.
I think it's a cop out.
What do you mean it never does that? I'm telling you the way I use it.
It's a cop out. It's just like you do it, but there's no need for it. It just makes you weaker.
Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you. Come on, stop rumpusing. Let me tell you something, sister.
I can't even say this, right? So maybe I need that F-bomb now too, so that I can get through to you guys, right?
Tell him to shut the fuck up and let you carry on, Betty.
See, there you go. And then you need still more and more and more of these amplifiers, and then you can't leave the F word alone with every freaking word you say.
Yeah, it's an adverb, helping verb, it's an adjective, noun, proper noun. It's it got so bad in the military. Listen, I'm not trying to say this as an excuse because I had a potty mouth, somewhat of a potty mouth. Just relax. I had somewhat of a potty mouth before I went into the military. But you go into combat arms in the military, it's every other word from everyone. I'm not justifying it. I'm just telling you.
Well, it sounded like that.
So when I got out, it took like 6 months of serious therapy just to stop saying it 18 times within a short sentence.
Yeah, now the therapist is in therapy. It's all about the continuous strain of therapists that need to be helped by that.
Yeah. So I apologize for when it comes out. It's just I have no justification for it. Just dog me out. Who cares? Now let's move on from that. Oh, by the way, Adam mentioned fish. I'm gonna have fish tacos tonight. Now, I don't think I've ever ate a fish taco in my life. So, my wife said, "Listen, you got to try these, right? It's beer battered fish. They batter it in beer. It's really delicious. Then she puts it in. It's not hard tacos. It's like in a tortilla. Put a little cheese in there.
It's tortilla.
I know it is, but I like calling it tortillas.
But that's wrong.
And she made them the other night for herself, and I was walking by. She goes, "You need to try this." And I said, "Okay." And she cut off a little piece of it, and she has this cilantro dressing that she puts on these tacos. I'll tell you what, it was delicious. I said, that's for dinner coming up here this week.
Cilantro's coriander, innit? I think little flat leaves.
Welcome to the culinary world.
Same
Well,
person that
this one bit I want to check on that. You said beer battered fish. A, what fish? And B, is that just like where you use a nice bitter to make your flour batter to dip them in and then deep fry them?
Yes, and the fish is cod.
Oh, yes, very
All right,
English.
cod
like
is
that.
good. You got the cod right.
Yeah.
But my wife makes them with shrimp too. The shrimp tacos are just as good.
I'm not a big fan of shrimp. I like it like surf and turf. I like it that I don't eat a lot of it. I was never a big shrimp guy, but I understand what you're saying. All right.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Sounds
All right,
good.
hold up.
Even
Hold up, Flat Arthur. We're gonna get to you guys. See, Adam, he still wants to talk. We need to end it with Adam right here for a couple minutes. Adam, just take a break.
I'm breathing.
All right, Neil, how are you? We're gonna get to you, Flat Arthur. I know it's almost bedtime for you. We got to give our respects to Neil. Neil, how are you, sir?
Doing good. I'm listening to your food stories. These are way behind in my household. These are just catching up to where we are. But taco night is the worst night of my life. I don't like it. If I got to do work to eat something, I'm not into it. I got to build something, then eat it. No, I don't like tacos.
I'm not building anything, Neil.
The way my wife makes it, everything's on a table, and you got to put the chopped meat on because you got fish tacos, beef tacos,
right?
But
chopped meat tacos. Then you got cheese. Then you got the what do you call it? Tomatoes all chopped up.
Yeah,
then you got
lettuce.
the cilantro. Then you got the jet. Oh, it's a pain in the
That's
neck.
right. Hold up, Betty. The bummer of that, and I know exactly what you're talking about, which is not happening tonight, by the way, but I know what you're talking about. Then at the end, it's all a mess. You got everything all over your hand. It's dripping everywhere. It's all over the table. It's a mess.
Yes.
So go ahead, Betty. You can add something.
Oh, I was just like commenting on Neil, saying that he's kind of lazy, that he doesn't want to build up his own food. Crying out loud.
Why don't you have her just cut it up for you as well, Neil?
Yeah,
And then make me
I'm
think it.
lying because my wife does all the building for me anyway. She puts it all together for me.
Unfreaking believable. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, you got a super chat, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. It's from Tony Whitcomb, and I might lose the pun already, maybe.
All right, let me get there so I can translate for you.
Can't wait to see John's globe living room. The ceiling should be 11 feet 6, and using globe math, it should be equivalent to 6 foot 66 inches.
He's talking about John on the show, on Nathan's show, that he's trying to make his kitchen out to be provably a sphere. So I caught little bits and pieces of it over the past few days. I'm not all that up to speed on it, but it's pretty funny.
A lot of working to demonstrate mathematically how curved John's kitchen is. We've been very, very detailed in ensuring we only use the methodology that the ball has used to validate the globe. And we've taken the same sets of measurements and applied it to John's kitchen to demonstrate that when we take an angle off of the flat kitchen floor, we can use those angles to demonstrate how curved the flat surface is.
Jeez. My God, sir. Thanks a lot, Tony. Appreciate that.
Outside of one person's mouth.
Hold on, Tony. I'll thank you again because I was getting rumpus. Thanks.
Yeah,
There we go again. Let me try it again.
I will go on mute.
Thank you, Tony. Now you can come off mute.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna just wait, Flat Arthur. Don't anticipate.
Oh, come on. Let's go to Flat Arthur. Waiting for a long time now before he falls asleep again.
I had to say a lot of things which would have been funny, but they would no longer be funny now.
Oh, they're gonna use that excuse, like I'm the bad guy now, right?
Yeah, you are. You're always a bad guy. You've been born that way.
How the heck are you, Flat Arthur? I miss you every time you're not in here. What's up?
All good, Kate. I just wanted to confirm, cilantro is the same as coriander, right?
Yes.
Yep. I also had the same revelation as Adam, and I want to thank Betty to clarify that it is tortilla and not tortilla, because otherwise I would have thought that they call it tortilla in America.
It's on that what was really funny, what the hell is that movie called with Robin Williams? He's on the trip with the RV, that's what it is, RV, and he goes to dump his poop tank, and there's a couple rednecks there, and one of them is eating chips, and he's calling them tortilla chips. That's where I get it. As soon as I'd seen it, I just know it, tortilla chips. It's cracked me. My wife lost it. So that's where it comes from. What?
Lost what? Her marbles?
Oh, she was laughing, belly laughs. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we're good. Is that it, Flat Arthur?
Yep, I think that's it.
What did you have today? Cat tacos?
Chicken sausages with Indian paratha, which is...
Say that one more time. Hold on, Flat Arthur. Your mic's coming in and out a little bit. Can you get close to the mic and say that one more time, please?
That would be chicken kebabs with Indian paratha, if you know what a paratha is.
Don't know. What is it? Spell it and then tell us.
Oh my God. So paratha is...
bread, isn't it?
Shut up, Adam!
What I wanted was food chat. I love a paratha.
And what's funny is pretty much like a tortilla, I suppose. So you can wrap the chicken kebab, which is like a sausage, within that paratha, and with it whatever veggies you want to add. So it was my own creation. It's not like a recipe or anything. I just mixed up a lot of things, veggies and chicken with a paratha.
It sounds good.
You know what I had for lunch yesterday, Arthur? Was a chicken kebab, yeah, in a paratha with mint sauce. That's what that was, and then I had a little bit of spicy paneer with it. Yeah, see, parathas, it's nicer, isn't it? It's buttery. It's got a lot more fat in it that a paratha has than just like a normal bit of bread, hasn't it?
You never add chicken with paneer.
What do you mean I can't have chicken and paneer? I saying I can't have pineapple on a pizza. Can?
That's blasphemous here in India, at least to me.
Is that a faux pas?
Yes, pretty much, because paneer is for non-vegetarian. Paneer is for vegetarians, and non-vegetarians eat chicken mostly here. So paneer is like the chicken equivalent to all the non-vegetarians here in India. That's the only thing that they can eat.
I'm an omnivore. I eat meat and veg and dairy. Yeah.
Just don't mix those two. Don't eat them together.
How can you be a vegetarian if you eat chicken? Isn't that meat?
I misspoke. Vegetarians.
I got a question only QE can answer, and I think he may know the answer.
Ooh.
Hold on, Neil. I've been trying to say hold on for about the last 3 minutes on mute. So, I don't know what's going on, but the sound is horrible. Adam, your mic sucks. Flat Arthur, your mic sucks.
Betty, you're echoing.
Beto, and then we have Betty topping off with the cherry on top, echo.
Well, otherwise it wouldn't be fun.
Okay, Neil, go ahead.
What did Citation Police used to go by? What was his name before Citation Police?
I can't reveal that.
Wow, nobody can remember this, huh?
No, I didn't say. Now pay attention to what I'm going to say. You didn't listen to my response. I said I cannot reveal that. I didn't say I didn't remember.
Oh, okay. Why can't you reveal it? Was it top secret?
Why is it important, Neil?
Because we couldn't think of it today after the show. Nobody could remember what he used to go by. And
Alex,
neither could Paula.
Is it important?
No.
It's more important as to
important
why
when you
John
can't
can't
remember
reveal it.
something.
That's more interesting to me.
I get the impression he never told me not to reveal it, but I get the impression from a discussion I had with him on another server late yesterday that he had another name, and I said, "Is this Citation Police?" I knew it was.
Out of respect, well, that's boring. If you're just being a respectful person and not revealing it because you're not sure, and where's the conspiracy in that? Come on, I thought Neil had something there.
All right, Adam. When you're not talking, go follow Betty's instructions. Go on mute because it's horrible. Okay.
Roger.
All right. We got. Oh, Brian popped it. Brian, you know how this goes, man. We've been, stuck in the hedgerows with numpties. How's it going, Brian?
Hey, Kiwi. Hey, Betty. Hey, Adam. Hey, Neil. Hey, everybody. Yeah, it's going good. I've been listening to fish tortillas. I won't be having them. Sorry, tortillas. I don't care how good of a cook your wife is. I'll never be eating them. That's like chocolate with fish on it. No way.
Do you eat potatoes with tortillas?
I've never had a tortilla. Never. So you can count me out there. I've never had one. I don't think I have anyway. No, I have. I've had a tortilla. Now I'm saying tortilla all the time. I've had tortilla. but I've never had a taco. That's it. I've never had a taco.
You know what this reminds me of? Betty trying to find... because I call people, I have certain phrases and names for people, and she's looking for this guy on YouTube, but she knows him only by the name I gave him.
So she won't find him.
Yeah, hillbilly, whatever. Right?
Hillbilly Blue Balls, the redneck retard. Yeah, type that in.
Blue Marble Science.
It's like a boomerang. You come back to Quantum Arranger again.
Too funny.
You don't want to be called that. Stop disrespecting him.
No, I'm just trying to play the conceptual game, Neil. If I keep on saying tortillas, then what Brian's saying, he's going to keep on saying it. Just like the double split experiment.
Yeah, I only end up walking into a Mexican joint in California or something and say, "Can I have a bloody blah tortilla, please?" Like an absolute idiot.
All right. Did we get all the food talk out? Does anyone want to bring up? Do you run into any experiences with any food? Go ahead, Adam.
I just want to get Bright to confirm how good quality beer batter is over standard batter. He shouldn't have an objection to it.
I don't know if I ever had it, to be honest. So I can't state.
Instead, when you make your batter up, right, you just put beer in instead of water, and the effervescence in the beer helps make the batter lighter, and it adds just a nice little bit of bitterness to the batter as well, doesn't it? But it makes it, because they've got the bubbles in the beer, just lifts the batter and makes it a lot lighter.
Yes.
That sounds fantastic. Sorry, Quantum.
No, it takes.
I have one more food.
Go ahead.
The beer battered onion rings in Buffalo Wild Wings are outstanding.
Ooh. See, I love an onion ring, Neil. You know, whenever you see onion rings, it doesn't matter what I'm ordering on the menu. If it's got extras with onion rings, I think, well, I've got to give it a go, haven't you?
Gotta be
Always
beer battered
for an
though.
onion ring.
Gotta
Well,
be
even
beer
better.
battered though.
Go ahead and say got to be beer battered over top of them about 25 more times.
I knew you were gonna say that, so it's gotta be beer battered. Because regular onion rings, nah. If it's not beer battered, it tastes like shit.
I won't go that far. I was a lover of onion rings and batter. When we were kids, right, we used to, you go down the chippy and you wouldn't have a lot of money, so you couldn't afford a bag of chips because that'd be like 15p or something when I was a kid, 10 cents. But what you could get for 2p was a bag of batter bits. It was, as they were cleaning out the fish and chip bit, they'd take all the bits of batter, stick them in a thing, and then you get a bag for 2p, put salt and vinegar on. It's literally just fried batter. Things, you know, basically a heart attack in a bag.
So I put Flat Arthur's the chicken kebab meal up. What he was talking about, it's up on screen, Flat Arthur.
Yep. So
Yep.
those are uncooked sausages. The cooked ones I'm done with, and you
What?
can mix it with what you want.
What's that up there in the corner? You got some limes? What did you take a wire brush through those limes?
I just squeezed them. That's it. And there's a tomato peel, and beside it, green chilies.
Yep. Yep.
Look a bit dry, them limes, don't they? Look like you needed a good roll before you squeeze them.
There were potatoes, fried potatoes too.
It doesn't look too bad. I don't know. What did you put this in, a dog bowl?
No, that's a steel plate. That's what we eat here in India, mostly. Most people.
Standard in the Indian plates, right?
That's right. Middle class, not the upper middle class or higher class. They have shifted to China bones. What do they call it? China stuff.
Bone china.
China, yeah.
Porcelain.
China, ceramics and glass and plastics and fibers, whatnot.
Gotta be beer battered.
Tell him again, Neil.
I'm done.
All right, we got the food out of the way.
I think you ate a banana now.
I am not. I'm not all that hungry right now. I had a late breakfast. The banana is over in the corner, though.
See, I told you. It's there. Lurking in the corner. Does it have a curve? Straight.
Is Adam getting hungry? Keep talking about food.
Yeah, I'm so yeah. All that, you know, because I've not had my tea. And all that food chat is. My tummy's gnawing. As Archie used to say, it feels like my stomach's eating itself. So if I disappear in a bit, it's because I might be going to check where my tea is.
Do you have to go? Do you have to leave where your mic is to go eat?
I might have to leave to go fetch it, but I'll be back.
I got you. Oh, we're sure gonna miss that echo.
I can leave the mic on if that helps.
Well, I'll mute you then.
No, we got Betty. She's the backup for that.
Oh yeah, I will echo away. It's like I'm living between mountains here in Holland.
You don't have any mountains in Holland.
That's why that I need my own echo, right?
You just have underwater caves.
Huh? No.
dikes, right?
Those are above sea level, hopefully.
The dikes are above sea level?
No, the dikes are above the sea level. Of course, otherwise we will drown.
That's what I just said. You said no, they're above sea level.
Yeah, well, isn't it?
Oh, brother.
Oh, goodness.
My word.
No, it's your word against my word.
All right, let's see if we can't save this show.
Like you should say it like it's on sale. Well, we got here Nathan Oakley, 1980. Go to his channel for great content on flat Earth instead of food.
Is he in the VC? Is he in chat?
No, he's in chat.
Ah.
I'm convinced that he will come to the chat to say it himself.
He can't stand the food conversations we have. It irks him.
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have that much food there.
They did have a lot of rain over the past few days, right, Betty? Because you told me about. Betty said that there was a cyclone. No, she didn't say that. She had some storms that was like 89-mile-an-hour winds. I said, that's a friggin' hurricane.
Eunice, she was called.
Yeah.
And later we got Franklin. How about that?
Yep, but you get. Remember, I told you get England sloppy seconds, right?
We always get English sloppy seconds because they take the brunt.
Yeah.
Luckily, this time of the storms.
The Irish took it first.
The Irish. Go ahead, Betty.
Hello from Croatia. Unitux Famous says, here it is incredibly flat.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Sasha. Which is Unitox Femu. Or Vemu. Is it Femu or I think it's Vemu.
Don't make it any more difficult than it already is.
Let me go ahead and look. I didn't see that. Hey, thanks. Yeah. Hello from Croatia. Exactly. He knows the deal. That's where my grandfather.
It's in Croatia. I think so.
That's where my grandfather and grandmother came from, Croatia.
You sound like it was a long crawl over to America, and you barely made it.
I didn't do anything. I'm American, through and through.
Oh, no, you're not.
That's right, baby.
At least you have to be like 10 generations over there.
Yeah, so Betty kind of puts her up on a pedestal, herself up there, because she always thinks that she's purebred, right?
Oh, yeah? A purebred.
Yeah, this is the thing with Betty, that she's a purebred, and me being American, we're just mutts.
Yeah, bastards.
Wait a second. If you're Croatian, you're Croatian. How are you a mutt?
Well,
because you live in America?
No.
Country.
No, because I'm not only Croatian, there's many other. I got some Cherokee Indian, some other nicks and knacks and what have you, who's making me a sort of a mutt.
Yep. The English are known as a mongrel nation.
Makes sense also.
We've only from 1066 onwards, if you follow those timelines, we were isolated. We weren't invaded, but up until that point, basically we were the subjugation of rape, pillage, and slavery 2,000 or 3,000 years. So there isn't any real true genetic stock, whether it's Romans, Anglo-Saxons, Vikings. They're always coming in, corrupting any kind of genetic true line. But yeah, so we're probably the most mongrel nation, I would suggest.
That just lifts Betty's pedestal even higher.
Well, the Dutch are interesting, aren't they? Because they are a pure breed. They are a bit of a quirk, aren't they?
Ta-da!
They appear from nowhere as the controllers.
Yeah, but what happens is in this situation of purebreds, there is a lot of genetic anomalies, right?
No, there isn't.
Go ahead, Betty.
Let's go to the super chat. I won't dox you, but John is from smiley face, smiley face.
I was going to link you to the tribe of Dan, but carry on.
Me?
Yeah.
No, we are of the tribe of Zebulon and of the tribe of Judah.
There's also talk that the House of Orange emanates from the Merovingian and lines as well. That you emerge, so you come from Israel out into southern France. You get the state of Orange. Is it Bernard of Orange or something like that? Forms towards he then flees the province of Orange in southern France to tea's ready. That's my phone ringing. Excellent. But he then flees to Holland, and that's when the Dutch state is formed after the fleeing of the province of Orange.
Did you say
from the persecution of the Catholic Church?
Hold on, Betty. Relax. Did you say fleement?
Flee.
You said
run away.
You said fleement.
Did I? I was a bit distracted. Flee. Yeah. Well, I don't know why I said that. I'll take that on the tin. I'll take that on the tin chin.
On the tin chin. Go ahead, Betty. You can respond, please. Go for
it. Go respond. Well, yeah, there's a lot of reasons. But the tribe of Zebulon is in here because we have the usually this in the shields the ship, right? So the ship is like of the shields of the tribe of Zebulon. But we also got the lions of the Lion of Judah, right? So there's a lot of combination of the Israel tribe. But when we had our golden age, later on it went to England. So England basically took over, and they are of the tribe of Ephraim.
Right? This is
where we bring the Irish in. So this is really important. This is really important history because it goes to teas arrived. It goes to just a second. Just shut the. It goes to Egyptian mythology. So the Battle of the Boyne is where there is the transference of the royal bloodlines from the House of Orange to the House of Stuart at the Battle of the Boyne, which is a ceremonial sacrifice of a goat.
There's many things that lead to basically your queen, that's Queen Elizabeth. She's from the House of Judah. Because it says in the Bible that there will always be a descendant from the House of David on the throne ruling over Israel. So there you go. It's biblical.
I didn't know that this was is your show Thursday?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting thing, you know. People don't know who they are if they don't know their identity. How can you know what's really going on in the world?
I think it's important. I think it is. In fact, I was watching. I punched the TV on and the other night, and they were doing those genetic traces of I can't remember. I think it was Nova or something. I don't know what it was. Anyway, it was on there, and it was and I can't remember the guy's name. He's a pretty famous actor, not up in the upper echelon, but he was sitting there, and then the guy was, and they had really good graphics, and they were showing, they took him back to his father, then his father's father, and it's just a paper trail back, and it went back to like 1500s, right? And it was connecting all the dots, and you could see it is very important for your foundation, I think, to know that stuff. I never really thought about it all that hard, but I can see him change his attitude. He almost broke down, right?
Yeah. Well, if you know that your heritage is like huge, but your genealogy runs really deep, and then you know sort of where you came from, and the history that it's attached with that, it humbles you, you know.
Yes, because everything had to go right for you to exist.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like really small percentage that you would have been here, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I can see it, and I've watched it a couple more times. I can't remember the show. Sorry, but I usually don't hang out there. I'll watch a little bit of the weather, and then I'm off to other places, but this just came on. I figured I'd watch it.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I like the Bible so much. It's really, the genealogy is like really interesting, and it points to something. And there's a reason for it, that it's all being mentioned. People sort of whiff by it, and of course it's like very boring to read all through these names. And but it's still, it's very important to have.
I agree.
John, Quantum, are you speaking about a show where they went through the records as opposed to DNA?
Yes, but they have some DNA in there also, but with both.
All right, no, because I saw a thing before about this African American girl who went to 4. It's not going to be the same as what you're talking about, but she went to 4 different supposed companies who were going to tell her background, her DNA background.
Right.
And 4 of them gave different answers.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, this was more of a paper trail. They did the genetic thing at the end just to say that you're of this and this descent, not where, not exactly where. That was like in the background. It was a secondary type of point. But this was more or less a paper trail.
Yeah, there's a show. Sorry, Ben.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, go on.
Okay, there's a show here, an Irish show. I don't watch TV at all. I certainly don't watch Irish TV. But there is a show that they've ran the past 2 or 3 years where they do, where this Irish television crew, they do take someone famous and they bring them back through the records, and they may use some DNA in there as well to show them where they came from and who their relatives were in the past. So they do that exact same thing. Now, I don't know if it's the same show. I don't know where they run this show, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and in fact, they put like a book together, like an ancestry. Maybe it's from Ancestry.com who sponsors it, or one of those.
No. No, it's kind of new nowadays that people want to know more about their heritage. You also have these annoying ads that you can send your DNA to them, and then they find out how many of blood you have from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
I'm sort of cautious with that, because you give up your DNA for something and you don't know what happens after, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, identity. That's why I talked about identity presentations.
Right.
Identity is key. If you know what your identity is, they try to get our change history, right? And we can't remember it or be proud of it or be nationalistic or chauvinistic or whatever. It's just to be malleable to a new world order, right?
Yep.
It's kind of like that, and people don't understand that. So you need to keep on and be proud of who you are, what you are, and what you did and what your parents did.
Yeah, it provides that foundation for some people. Need that. I would say most people do.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have these kids that have been adopted, and later on they do want to know who their father. And they try to find them, and you see they miss out on stuff. Sometimes there's diseases in the family. They want to know how to get out of that, and or if it's hereditary, and but also character traits. People want to know what their parents were like. Like when you don't know your father, for example, you want to know what was his character. What did he do? Do I like it? Do I look like my father? Where do those things come from? Right? It's important.
I think so. I hadn't thought so before until I watched that show, and I can relate to what they were. It wasn't just one star. It was, like I said, he wasn't that big of a star, just like second or third echelon. I liked him, but they did other people, and you could just see, and I felt it myself. I said, you know what? I wouldn't mind doing that.
Sure. Yeah.
QE, it may be the reason that maybe the Cherokee blood is the reason why you like archery. That's what I was thinking when you said Cherokee.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, that's too funny.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, so the thing is that now that still things are being documented, right? But people also get things together, and then you can get online and you can get a long way. But which line to follow, right? Because
Yes.
if you go only to the paternal lines, then it sometimes will fade there. But then you can go to the mother, right? And then it's a myriad of people. Yeah, how many people does it take to get you?
Oh, it's unimaginable.
Yeah.
And
I think
the situations, right? And you're right, they do both lines.
yeah, and well, and then they have in England, for example, every ninth sort of person is related to the other. So it's like it's convoluted as well, you know.
That's you incestuous mongrels.
No, that makes it purebred. That makes it purebred because you're going into the own gene pool, right?
Speaking of incestuous mongrels, let's transition. It's great conversation. I think it ran its course. I want to transition back to the elephant in the room.
Is he pink?
Yeah, I think they caught up. I'm going to put this up so the YouTube stream can catch up to it. So I have a little bit to say about the elephant in the room. It seems that the ball-tard morons have finally caught up. It's only been like 2.5, 3 months. They're finally catching on to this elevation angle. And boy, they're really screwing the pooch. Like, we more or less predicted. We were just sitting back laughing, right? But now it's more of an en masse thing, right? There's all these people talking about elevation angles now. When we started, 3 months ago. But I wanted to pull this up. This was off of Discord a couple days ago. And it was between our friend Proto-Thad, the lion Surat Numpty, that got exposed on Nathan's show, and his new buddy, Ruhif, the idiot, the numpty from Down Under. See, all these guys are getting together, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was Proto-Thad that first came up with this challenge that MC Booger Eater and Bob, the pseudoscience fallacy fuckwit guy, got. So this got a lot of tentacles to it, but I wanted to show everybody the abject retardness of these idiots. So we're going to read from left to right. So I said, check this out, folks. Frodo Turd and Rufy the Numpty from Down Under. So this little depiction up here, ZOH, SOH, little, I don't even know what to call this, right? This showed up in Discord. And I was like, what in the world is going on here? And I think they took it from one of the Jacoby Harold's book. It was all convoluted. So one of the flat earthers said, let's get rid of the imaginary stuff and let's just pull that out. So he made this one. And when he posted it, some banter went back and forth and between me and Frodo Turd, and I said, dude, you're just a weasel liar. And then I said, where's the friggin' right angle? Above here, right? So in rapid succession, look what he wrote. He said that it's formed by the lines Z and H. It's right there. So it's formed by the lines Z and H. Immediately after him, because they knew what I was going to ask next. Where's the elevation angle, right? So Rufy, the numpty from Down Under, anticipated it, and he said, as you can see here, SOH is the elevation angle. SOH. I said, now we're going over here to the right. I said, that's kind of interesting. I said, okay, let's combine those two. So if the 90-degree angle is formed by Z and H, Z and H, ZOH, and the elevation angle is SOH, hopefully you guys know where I'm going with this. Which leg of the triangle is Z? That's where it ended, right? I said, I was fair. I did give him a multiple choice. I said, is it A, the hypotenuse, B, the adjacent, or C, the opposite? Or D, you're fucking retards that would fail third grade geometry? Guess who you think he answers? This is where we're at, folks. This is where we are at. I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek into exactly where we're at, because this is moronic. These numpties would fail third grade geometry. How you like that?
Love it.
Let's go over this. See, now they're denying there's any triangles, right? At all. You can hear it in their rhetoric. There are no triangles. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? A sextant, the only thing a sextant is used for is to obtain angles. Now, in this specific case, the sextant in celestial navigation, it is used to garner the elevation angle. Very important. Elevation angle. So, when you go and look up what an elevation angle is, it's everywhere, right? Because this isn't a mystery. This isn't secret schools. So, where do we go? Well, we go to Yachting World. Well, why wouldn't we? Because yachters, is that a word? Yachters. Sounds like otters. Similar medium. So these yachters, you'd figure they'd know what they're talking about with this subject because, like, they're kind of out on the ocean making long trips. Some of them, right? So what do they say about this? So, from Yachting World, in simplified terms, when we take a sextant altitude, that's elevation angle, by the way, of the sun, we're creating a right angle triangle. Really? Well, the ballers are telling us there are no right angle triangles. There are no triangles. So we're taking an elevation angle of the sun. We're creating a right angle triangle between it, the Earth's surface at the GP, and ourselves. Just like this depiction from Q-Man Rocket Man is saying, right? Same thing he's saying. Same thing these guys are saying. This guy's depicting in a diagram. Grade school geometry tells us that the two angles in a right angle triangle must equal 90 degrees. That's what it is. That's what an elevation angle is. It's that simple. And then you say, well, I think Rufy says, well, nuh-uh. Well, that was a powerful argument. So I said, okay, let's try another one. So we got courses at Lumen Learning, right? That's pretty legitimate. The angle of elevation of an object above an observer relative to the observer is the angle between the horizontal, see this line right down here? The horizontal, and the line from the object to the observer's eye. See that? That's the angle. Theta is the angle. The right triangle this position creates has sides that represent the unknown height, the measured distance from the base, and the angled line of sight from the ground to the top of the object. There's no triangles, guys. You deaf, dumb, and blind baltards. Really? I'm not kidding. Oh, you're just making it up. Just nuh-uh. This is well known. This is third grade geometry. So all we're getting is nuh-uhs. What's going on? So you don't like that one? Let's try another one. Let's go to sciencing.com. They pretty much know what they're talking about for the most part. To calculate the angle of elevation or angle of depression for an object from any point on a horizontal line. So it's got to be on a horizontal line. That's the first giveaway. Assume that the observer and the point or object being observed make up the two non-right corners of what? A right triangle. The hypotenuse of the triangle is the line drawn between the 2 points observer and the observed. And the right angle of the triangle is created by drawing a vertical line from the observed point to the horizontal line the observer stands on, just like this diagram is depicting. Again, you don't have a position anymore. Ballers, listen closely. You must deny the very existence of sextants. You can't even think they exist. If those daft, dumb, numpty baltards even whisper sextant, it's tantamount to Mao Zedong putting out a soybean futures challenge. You're morons. It's a paradox. Listen again, ballers. You must deny the very existence of sextants, because sextants in celestial navigation garner the elevation angle. And for an elevation angle, what you need right here is that flat baseline. There's no way out of this. None. From Jacoby Harold, Professor of Astronomy, Columbia University, Navigation, Chapter 6, The Sextant. This height of the sun or of any star in the sky is altitude or elevation angle, and so the altitude is always an angle to be measured in degrees or minutes. The point directly overhead is the zenith, overhead of the GP, numpties. The angle between the lines drawn to the horizon and the zenith is 90 degrees. A right angle triangle. You're through. It's all over. So then you ask yourself, what happens when we attempt to get an elevation angle on a sphere and rule everything out? When we use AutoCAD, right? Let's take a little listen, shall we?
Okay, to briefly touch on what the guys over at Flat Earth Debate have been saying, we're going to use the exact same examples of the GP positions here. I'm going to look at it from an orthographic view. Okay, if we're standing here on the Earth, this is the angle to the celestial body. Let's take a line from our position, representing the horizon. The angle formed here is definitely not 90 degrees. And even at the position where it meets the Earth, you can't have a 90-degree angle to a curved surface. And AutoCAD will actually verify this, because if I choose the angular dimension command and I pick this line and this line, it will give me an angle between them. If I try to pick this line and this arc, it says here, object selected is not a line. So it will just not give me an angle. And why would it? How could it? The angle will be different at every single point on that arc. So the question is, to the people who believe we live on a globe, 1. Where are you getting your 90 degrees? 2. Where are you getting your straight line to form the 90 degrees? And 3. Where are you getting your circle of equal altitude? Because from what I'm seeing, none of them are available to us using a sphere. Thanks for watching, folks. Okay, to briefly touch on what the guys over at Flat Earth Debate have been saying, we're going to use the exact same examples of the GP positions here. I'm going to look at it from an orthographic view. Okay, if we're standing here on the Earth, this is the angle to the celestial body. Let's take a line from our position, representing the horizon. The angle formed here is definitely not 90 degrees. And even at the position where it meets the Earth, you can't have a 90-degree angle to a curved surface. And AutoCAD will actually verify this, because if I choose the angular dimension command and I pick this line and this line, it will give me an angle between them. If I try to pick this line and this arc, it says here, object selected is not a line. so it will just not give me an angle. And why would it? How could it? The angle will be different at every single point on that arc. So the question is, to the people who believe we live on a globe, 1. Where are you getting your 90 degrees? 2. Where are you getting your straight line to form the 90 degrees? And 3. Where are you getting your circle of equal altitude? Because from what I'm seeing, none of them are available to us using a sphere. Thanks for watching, folks.
That's it. You're
That's
done.
brilliant.
It's finished. Hold on. I gave you all the background information. I defined it for you using plenty of citations, right, that clearly state what an elevation angle is. Then we took that information, which is true, and then superimposed it on the actual globetard, right, to show exactly how it doesn't work. You cannot get an elevation angle from a curved adjacent or a curved surface. Period. The end. You're numpty dipshits. It's all over. The prosecution rests.
Excellent. And the word you're looking for is yachtsman or seaman? Yachters.
What else? Good.
5 minutes. 5 minutes short of a decent presentation. And I've got my tea finished by then. Another 5. I love the way Rob brings that. And at the time, he makes a point in there and you've included it. And I didn't get it. But if you can just pull up the picture where he brings the line out. Not where he's talking about the arc line. That
You're talking about Bob's whore.
Yeah, that horizon line. What? So the point that I think is probably missed with Rob's is, he says, you see the point of intersection where the horizon line comes out to the GP line for the start. He points out there's no 90 degrees there either. And that's partly what they're claiming, but that's the reality. There is no 90 degrees on their right angle triangle for elevation angle. There's nothing created. And that's what Ruif's misnomering about, sticking a Z in. But if you look on that initial triangle, they don't draw the star's GP line down, which is primarily the thing that's forming the right angle. But they don't put that in. Why? Because it ruins the ball. It ruins their claim.
This is just This is just horseshit too. He shouldn't have drew Bob's whore. This line is meaningless. It's nothing. It's going off into outer space.
But if you're a baller and you're trying to pretend that the horizon you can reify it to create and then do a dip horizon to draw that line out, and you've mugged yourself off so much that you've accepted that. What he's pointing out, Lord, is where at that point of intersection is your 90. Nowhere is a 90-degree right-angle triangle being generated in your model, even if you have a whore that you can have stretch out into space. Yeah, it doesn't create this 90-degree intersection. It's not in the mathematics on the ball. It's implicit within the celestial navigation.
Yeah, it's over. Even with their numpty dipshittery added, it's still a belly laugher. This is over, folks. If this demonstration, my little presentation here, didn't convince you, that there's no hope for you. None. If you don't get it after that, you need to start all over again. That is primary school. Then you need to pay attention, really close attention, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. In geometry class, you need some serious help. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's nothing more I can do. That's it.
What's funny? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for finished. What's funny is Prototab himself created a diagram where he equivocated between the use of 2 different triangles, right-angle triangles. The first one, with him claiming that they don't use triangles, right? This is their claim. They don't use triangles, right? This is one of his claims because I had it in my video. And he never denied it, even though he could have asked for the comment where he said it. He never denied it because that's what he's saying. the first triangle, right, the 65-degree angle, that completely proved him completely wrong and showed us to be completely right and how they do use it, and it does require a flat plane. And then he carries on to show a second angle at 40 degrees, but this angle is kind of an amalgamation of the first angle, and he's doing a different thing. He's not using the depression angle to gain a distance. He's solving for the internals. Now, if I take a 40-degree angle to my table in my kitchen or my house outside my house, does that make my house and my kitchen 3,000 nautical miles away? No, because when you use an elevation angle, the distance with the depression angle is always the same. But you can take an angle or size or an angle to something, doesn't matter what it is, big or small, and you can solve the internals to get a different distance. But you never get a different distance with an elevation angle because you're not solving the internals, you're solving the external depression angle. He proved both those things work absolutely and require absolutely a flat plane with his diagram and with his claims. And now he's claiming there is no triangle. It's too late. It's over. But they're now claiming. Would you believe, QE? They're now claiming. I saw in Nathan's chat comments where Fight the Flat Earth was commenting with him, and another guy, and they were claiming that because you have a zenith on a globe, that means 90 works on a globe, because zenith is actually 90.
It's numbskullery. This is I got proto turds or Frodo. I call him Frodo Turd. His diagram that this is making the runs on the circuit. I'd like to point everyone's attention to number one. This is a right-angled triangle. Number two, he can't maths because if you look down here in the corner, he has a 40-degree elevation angle up to the star, and then he has this distance 2333.6 nautical miles. This is incorrect. If you have a 40-degree elevation angle to the GP, it's 3,000 nautical miles. So number one, he'd failed third-grade geometry. Number two, he can't maths. This whole thing's bunk right there. I could stop.
But that's what he did, QE, is he took that second angle, he added in the first proper elevation angle that he proved that debunked everything he was saying anyway. And he added that to his 40-degree angle, which he didn't take as an elevation angle. He took it as an angle and then used the internals to solve.
Right.
So it was a trick, is all he did.
Right.
So he didn't do it an elevation angle with second one.
So this line right here, you see this line of this right angle triangle? This is supposed to be going up to the star. What's here? What is he taking an elevation angle to somebody on a set that's holding a sextant at 2333.6 nautical mile? This is idiotic. What's this going up to?
That's the revealer, isn't it?
I just want to say that he pre-assumed that the star was 3,000 nautical miles high to do his 40-degree angle because he was doing what would be equivalent to an angular size calculation then, an internal angle calculation, which means you need to know the height. So he pre-assumed that the star was 3,000 nautical miles high. That's what he did to take his second angle, to use it. Go on, sorry, Adam.
No, that's exactly. See, it's very clever and the way it's constructed, because the first 65-degree angle, and I like to give credit where a
credit to that.
Well, it's a dirty trick. It's either a dirty trick or it's a bit of idiocy where you assume that standard geometrical trigonometry is equivalent to celestial navigation, and that's what we've got in this diagram. Is a conflation of the two. So we've got two triangles here which appear to be linked together. They're not in reality. As you say, there's no GP of the middle sextant, so it's not celestial navigation that's being plotted in the diagram. But what's being plotted is two positions to one star. Now the first position at the 65 uses a 25-degree co-angle to derive the 1,500 nautical mile distance. And I think John said in the past, you can't walk into a trigonometry class and go, here's one angle in a right-angled triangle, solve the distances. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
And that's
right.
why
That's exactly what I said. You'll never find an occasion where that's the case. Never.
So what they have to do is use celestial navigation and the majesty of the heavens to derive that distance from the co-angle, 25. That's what defines that 1500. Celestial navigation. Now what they then do is move to the second measurement, the 40 degree, where we could easily calculate the distance from the GP by taking the co-altitude and multiplying it by 60 to give us 3,000 miles. Lovely. That is navigation. Let's take standard trigonometry, draw these angles out in the triangle that you see, and we're going to now calculate using standard trigonometry. And as I said to John, this triangle and this calculation is a kind of a reversal of Al-Biruni's how to calculate the height of the mountain before you reapply the... so it's the same complicated trig that they've just rearranged the formula, but instead of solving for the height of the mountain, you're solving for the distance to the base. And in doing so, it does, if you use standard trig, it's correct. That's what it works out to be, which is fine. Correct, standard trig. It's not celestial navigation anymore. And this is where they're conflating the two things. So the first smaller triangle is derived and defined via celestial navigation. The second one is defined via standard trigonometry based, and this is the important, based on the units from the derivation of the first one via celestial navigation. Now, the first, and this is the other interesting point and the difference between celestial and terrestrial navigation, is the first distance is derived from the co-angle. In the second case, when you use standard trig, the distance is derived by the elevation angle. It has nothing to do with the co-angle.
Right. Adam, when you say first and second, you're going to confuse people. You need to specifically identify what you mean by first and second.
In the first triangle, when we define the distance of the base, we do not use the 65. We use celestial navigation and we use the 25 to calculate that. When we go to the second triangle, where we've got a 40 degree elevation, simply using celestial navigation, you go to the 50 to derive the number of 3,000. But they don't do that. They use the 40 internal angle and standard geometric trig to derive a trigonometrically correct figure of 3,833 miles, which to me just demonstrates that you can't mix terrestrial and celestial navigation, and if you do, you'll get lost.
This is a basic. Yeah. This is a basic numpty dipshit category error. Let me say this one more time, Brian, before we round out this point. Ballers, you must deny the very existence of sextants. If you merely whisper the name, it's tantamount to Mao Zedong putting out a soybean futures challenge. It's a paradox. You're an achromatic rainbow. You're a married bachelor. You're military intelligence. You're tards. It's all over for you. Say goodnight. Go ahead, Brian.
Thanks, QE. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you exactly with what you said. What I'm going to say now kind of doesn't really matter, but I'll say it anyway. You can take a 40-degree angle to your fridge, to your table, to your house, to your car, and you can solve the internals, and you will always get a different distance depending on the size of the object, its actual height, as long as you know its actual height. And that'll tell you your distance to it, blah, blah, blah. You could do it just like they do in surveying. So that is the second angle. He used that. He basically used a surveying use of a right triangle. That's what he did with his second angle. But he added into his second angle the first angle, which was a celestial navigation angle. Whereas 40 degrees as a celestial navigation elevation angle will always result in a 50 by 60 nautical mile distance, which is 3,000 nautical miles. So 40 degrees in celestial navigation is always 3,000 nautical miles of a distance. It always results in a 3,000 nautical mile distance. Put 40 degrees to your fridge or your car or your table or whatever, that will result in all kinds of different distances.
Yep.
And he just, messed around, tried to be smart.
No, he's a numpty dipshit. These are Elmer Fudd sophists that would fail third grade geometry, folks. That's it. It's over. I already showed you. If you try to get a elevation angle off a sphere, we did it in AutoCAD. AutoCAD's not a flat earther, right? It showed you right there. It's over. We've been telling you the same thing for a few months now. What you gonna do to that? The jury's gonna belly laugh their way. You're guilty. It's over.
See, in the middle of my ramble there, you pick me up in terms of giving them some credit, and genuinely, this is the issue, John. I don't think they are retarded. I just genuinely think they're lying, deceitful people. They're not out for truth. They're out to trick people to keep them in a paradigm. Because as I've gone through there, you have to have an understanding of the differences. And why would you conflate them? And I'll give the apologetics that you are that dumb. That's why you've conflated them. But genuinely, I think they're deceivers, not dumbasses.
I agree with Adam 100%.
You know where my position is, but that really doesn't matter. It's all over.
It's a moot point.
Yes, it's a mute point.
I still got it wrong way around, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Grammatically correct, but FE incorrect. Yeah.
Too funny.
Put yourself on mute.
All right, let's see what's going on out there. Yeah.
I got a super chat.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, and I gotta sing it, apparently.
No way.
Yeah, I have to. Unit of
Sing like Judy Garland.
Somewhere where the sky.
Yeah, Betty, stop, cut. My God, cut.
But you need to sing this, Betty. So I'm doing that.
Betty, your mic was cutting out.
I don't care. I sung it.
All right, you're going to have to do it again because I was rumpusing you. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was
do it again. Do it again.
Okay. Somewhere where sky meets the ground, there is no curve to be found. How about that?
Great job.
That was beautiful.
Great job. Get another mic.
Yeah, well, I'm not a professional singer.
Yeah, you don't have a professional mic either.
No, I'm not a professional. That's me.
You are
John,
a professional. Oh God.
Yeah.
Rumpusser.
Well, go on. Don't let me keep you.
I just want to say I've got a nice warm feeling inside, Betty. That was lovely. Even if you did clip a bit.
Thank you. See, someone can at least give a compliment when it's needed.
You want me?
Easy singing Judy Garland.
You want me to sing it?
Well,
yeah.
No.
Yes, QE.
No way, man. I'm not singing that, dude. No way.
Sing it, John.
QE, think of it like you're singing CCR when you're doing it.
CCR, yeah. It's not CCR. Is it Judy Garland who sang that?
Judy Garland, yes. But think CCR.
Born on the bayou. All right. Somewhere over the horizon.
There you go. That's it.
Where the sky meets the ground, there is no curve to be found. Green River.
I'm gonna go on mood.
You funny. Yeah, so I don't know what they're gonna do. Keep whistling past the graveyard, I guess, because I don't know if you'll never recover from this. You can't do it. If you think you can, go to AutoCAD, take an elevation angle, just like Rob Durham did. We've been telling you this for months, that you can't do it. Right? Go there and do it yourself and watch AutoCAD to tell you to get stuffed, you numpty. It's all over.
All over. The fat lady has sang.
And Elvis left the building.
Apparently, that's me tonight.
You cracked yourself up.
Yeah, because I'm the fat lady now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. COVID kilos, they call it. Are we doing the silent thing? The minute silence for like memorandum of the flat Earth winning over the globe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's better just to shut the fuck up.
I told you, John, but you never listen.
I do. I did it a couple times when you told me that, and then I got more subscribers.
That genuinely, right? That's exactly why I went quiet there. Because I know we were in that maths, and there's so much in this that the ballers should be using. I'm not going to tell them, but it's beyond a belief that this is the level of argument they've got with, and this is their best. This is their best argument. Yeah, this is the best they've got. It's the one where they can cloud it, and they've not brought out their best bits yet. And so I'm still intrigued as to why they're arguing about what a triangle is when they've got. If they understood this, they've actually got an half decent argument lingering in the back. I mean, it will be destroyed, but it's quite an interesting argument they could bring. And I'm not going to mention it, and that's why it's quite interesting. Silence is probably best sometimes, but it's interesting. See, I'm going back to retarded again, John, now instead of deceitful.
Yeah.
Because I'm surprised they haven't mentioned this. So
yeah,
maybe
I told you they're retarded.
Yeah. Oh, I'm flip-flopping. I'm like Jose. But wherever they take it, they've lost. It's interesting. Maybe that's what they do have to stay on a triangle, what a right angle triangle is, even though they've not drawn the right angle in their diagram.
Yeah, right. You know what's truly hilarious, and I don't. Maybe this has gotten by some people, but have you noticed that the Baltards are now Sextant experts? That cracks me the hell up. Cracks me up, man.
Fight the Flat Earth was such a subject matter expert, as he told Mitchell before Christmas, that we're still waiting for the subject matter expert's video to destroy us. I've not seen anything yet. I'm not seeing any. Let's say I'm not seeing anything other than weak obfuscation arguments that don't really deal with anything other than trying to win a mute point.
Ah, you got it that time.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah. So you want us to take a challenge, and then you get numpty dipshit say, "Why don't you take the challenge?" Didn't you just listen to the presentation? Talk about whistling past the graveyard, numpty dipshits. And by the way, I don't do monetary challenges with you freaking abominations of the earth that you crawled out from under. Zanuck owes me $2,000 from over 2 years ago. You guys don't pay.
They don't never pay out.
They're Welchers.
Yeah, why are we going to do it?
That's point one. The second, I want to see the contract, because I think McToon was a little excited as he was announcing it, and the nuances that the devil is always in the detail, isn't it? And as he got a little excited, and I think I understand where the nuance of the argument where they won't allow the flat earthers to win is there. So I'll wait to see, but I think it's a little bit of another obvious trap. It was a bit like, at least the other one had a little bit of maths in it before I could understand where their trickery was. I think this one is all. It's not in maths. It's in the English language. Is what I'm thinking. But we'll wait to see for it to be revealed. But I think it's literally in the descriptions of how you meet the challenge. And I think more fundamentally, John, yeah, we're still owed money from previous bets. Why would we trust them? You know.
All our challenges start with the angles already have been taken. That's our argument. Our argument is, how do you take these elevation angles with distances on their baselines that create the radius of the circles of equal altitude? But they give you all that first without giving it to you, and then give you a maths challenge for $10,000.
Yeah, the Sextant challenge without using the Sextant.
Yeah. I know you have noticed. Sorry.
Good one, ballers. That you should pull the wool over the eyes of preschoolers with that one. I think they'll even bust you with that. Fucking clowns.
Yeah, and you're 100% right, QE, because I have noticed that too. The amount of sextant experts on the globe side within the past 6 weeks is phenomenal. Whereas 6 weeks previous to that, none of them knew what they were talking about.
Was that the 6 weeks they were quiet whilst having Skype meetings, training, reading Google? Because all you're seeing now is in the arguments is just Google searches making statements. QE put one in that you responded to, Brian. I saw it. I mean, it was just I might be plagiarising from you, a diatribe of just word salad and quote mining of stuff, as if just stating how celestial navigation works means it's a ball. It's kind of back to 2015 almost, isn't it?
Yep.
Because they've got the lack of knowledge. Let's just recite something off Google and say that means it's a ball. Even though, because I read what he put, and it literally, I was thinking, well, that's a nice summary of what Temp's been presenting for the past year or so. Well done. You know, it had no validity to a ball. It destroys a ball.
Yeah, it's that all or nothing fallacy. If it says anything about one of their biggest mistakes, and we've been pointing out to them for ages, they keep seeing the word arc and thinking curve of Earth. Like, it's just this unbelievably inept level of research going on. The arc is in the arc of the sextant and the arc of the protractor. Nothing to do with the Earth or the sky, bald hearts. You know what I mean?
Hold up, I got a slide for that one. 1 second, Brian. Where the heck did you go?
I'm waiting.
There it is. Hold up. Let me get it. Oh, I got that on. 1 second. Oh, not that. There you go. Prototype. Oh, you want it? Do you see it? Can you go over it?
I can't see it, but I think I've seen it already.
Yep, I'll go over it. Frodo Turd, Dunning-Kruger Numpty Dipshit Fraud thought that the arc length meant the curvature of the Earth. the arc length, actually the arc scale, is found on the sextant or protractor itself. It's the micrometer drum and the vernier scale. It's
what
right.
A bunch of idiots.
God was kind enough, weren't he, to put the stars in the sky for us to be able to use celestial navigation. But what he didn't provide was also a graduation in the sky for you. That's why we have the instrument, you know. But what is the category error there? Because this is fundamental to their understanding. Yeah, that the curve on the instrument relates, yeah, to the shape of whatever you're measuring. It's fundamental to their. Is it a category error?
Yeah, big. Yeah, huge.
Yeah. I'm not very good on it.
If there's anything that say arc or curve, they immediately say ball.
Yeah, you can see it right here. The graduated arc indicates the number of degrees of an angle. The micrometer drum rotates to make fine adjustments when measuring angles and indicates minutes of a degree of angle. It is attached to the lower end of the index arm. One complete rotation moves the index arm 1 degree along the arc scale. The drum has 60 graduations, each representing 1 minute of arc. Vernier scale indicates tenths of a degree of angle. It is attached on the index arm adjacent to the micrometer drum and has 10 graduate. You're done. You're finished. This is so silly. Good one. I forgot about that one, Brian. They're ridiculous. This is child's play. Nonsense.
Yeah. Exactly. Arc scale, not arc of curve or sky ballers. Yeah, arc scale. Yeah, that shows you the level of research they do. They look for a word that has anything to do with a globe, whether it be one of the people, whether it be a contradiction written in by the navigator or whatever due to their belief, and they just jump on that. I think it's called an all or nothing fallacy, and they jump on that and say globe. It's like, we don't care what they say, we care what they do. Right? Yep. We don't care what they write, it's what they do in reality. That's our argument. Isn't that right?
They're toast.
Shall we go through the panel?
Yes.
Because I see a new guy also named Brian Leakey.
Oh, haven't seen Brian or heard from Brian in a long time. Yeah, you go through the panel if you like. Yes.
Hi, Brian.
Oh,
hey, Brian.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I was listening to them. I just wanted to make a quick comment. Like they sit there and try and pin us down to triangulating for the opposite end or the height to the star, when that's not even how the sextant is used. I challenged them to, okay, let's put the same challenge on them. Why don't y'all use the triangulation and tell me in your model what the height is to the star? It's a joke. It'd be like quadrillions of miles. So they holding us to in that challenge. Like I have a refraction model that can complete that challenge within like 11 miles.
Nah, don't do that.
25,000. Yeah, I know.
Don't do that. You don't want to do that. I'm telling you, you don't do it.
That's what I was thinking, man, because they'll find a way to weasel out of paying me, even if I make it work, right?
Yeah, don't do it. Just stick with their numpty dipshit. It's all over. I showed you in AutoCAD. You can't get an elevation angle off a curved surface. End it there. Just stop. Prosecution rests. And watch.
Yeah, that was good shit.
Watch them with their heads cut off. It'll be like roaches. You turn on a light, but all these roaches got their heads cut off. Just stop right there. You don't have to go any further. Don't chase any of their stupid red herring fallacies. Don't do it. Stop right there. I'm telling you.
Roger.
Yeah, Brian, don't worry about it. Brian, stick to what you just said at the very start of your statement was all you have to worry about. That has nothing to do with how you use a sextant.
Yeah.
So who cares what they do with angles outside of that? Because when you use a sextant, you use the depression angle of the elevation angle. So all that matters, they can take all their internals and shove them wherever they want. It's not what they do with sextant.
They act like they use math or something to figure out the sextant, like the 60 nautical miles per degree. That's empirical. That's per
degree. Hold up. Per degree. What's that degree? The
elevation angle.
That would be an elevation angle, wouldn't it?
That is correct. And then
no, there's not and then. No, it stops there.
Yeah, you're right. But they make it seem like there wasn't ships out there marking, and mapping and all that through all the years to make the ephemeris. That like they just did it with math and charted a star, and there it is. They made them ephemerises from years of out there, getting the angles, making the maps and all that. So yeah, I like what y'all are doing, man. I just want to comment on that.
No, PTO the 3, whatever name that is. That's not. I don't stop it there. I stop it because I don't have to go any further. You're dead. Let me say this again. Ballers must deny the very existence of sextants. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Do you want me to write it in Braille and shove it where the sun doesn't shine for you? Here's the reason why. Because of it measures elevation angles. You must have a flat baseline. You can't have a curved adjacent. I showed you on AutoCAD. Why do I have to go any further? You're dead at step 1. I don't need to beg the question for your numpty dipshittery anymore. The prosecution rests. Goodness gracious, are you morons? Yeah, well, that's rhetorical.
Yeah, Brian, the same people will argue with you that they don't use triangles or right-angle triangles. They are the same people who try and tell you that they solve for the internal of the right-angle triangles. The very things they're telling you they don't use. A lot of them just don't even know what the difference between an elevation angle and an angular size measurement is.
Yep.
They don't know. They don't know the difference between those two.
Yep.
Just exactly what QE said. Stick to you just need one argument. You have to show you an elevation angle that matches all the elevation angles that travel hundreds and thousands of miles on a curved surface.
Exactly. Who cares what they say? Prosecution rests. That's right.
It
is over.
If there's any third grade geometry graduates that are listening in, you're not going to convince. You can't convince fanatical religious fucktards. What you're going for are the people that are listening. You know, the silent masses that will eventually listen to this. And if any one of those silent masses are third grade geometry graduates, they are pissing themselves. I'm telling you, they are pissing themselves over these idiot baltards and their numpty rebuttals. It's over.
This is another example of them using their weak point, putting it to us, height of the star. Yeah? Height of the star is the issue for them. It will have a height, even though they put it out to infinity, which is interesting. How they would then use trig. But I'll go back to the first point that John made. First grade trigonometry, I just give you one angle of a right angled triangle. Yes, you can solve the other angle. But what you can't solve for is any distances. Okay? And what their little tricky question hopefully demonstrates that point, that the way in which we derive the distances is from the heavens. Okay? It's derived from the stars. All of it. If we try to do this celestial navigation using land-based trigonometry, it does not work. That's what their tricky question aptly demonstrates. As much as they try to make out it within a straw man, yeah? And that's the important. The reason celestial navigation works is it recognizes that there isn't a height to this apparent position of the star. It understands that. It understands that the measurement you're taking has nothing to do with height. It's solely related to distance. And I'm not going into too much detail again, but I'll say to you, refer you to the Masons. Why they have the square and the compass, what they're both measuring. They both measure distance in different ways. And that's what celestial navigation is doing. It's not doing standard trick, which I say, well, this is why they've put this to us. They want this to us because it ruins their idea. Because it does not work. Either versions don't work in theirs, in their model. It's a mess, and that's why. Let's put it to the ballers. Let's put it to the flat earthers. How high are your stars then? Yeah, because as soon as you put that into their model, it gets really messy. Really, really messy.
Yep. All right. Betty?
Yeah. So I think Brian will get his chance in a little while. Brian's logic. Let's go to Data. Hi, Data.
Keep it concise.
Can't hear. He might not have a mic to speak to.
He's not even lighting up. Drop on and come back in again, Data.
Mm-hmm.
How about now? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yeah, so I was just doing some digging here, looking at earlier navigation, because it struck me quite interesting that Bernard Riemann would mention that, trigonometry is fine for terrestrial, which all of these instruments we're using, like, the sextant, the astrolabe, they're all reliant on Euclidean principles. And so digging further into celestial navigation, they developed spherical triangles for the purpose of the moon. For some reason, they couldn't use trigonometry to calculate the orbit of the moon, right? So I found this in earlier navigation books. I wanted to bring it up and give you the book that I found it in. but it was around 1800s, roughly around that time frame that they started to devise a calculation just for the moon. That's it, just to find your position based on the moon. Meanwhile, for the last 1,000 years, they're using straight lines and angles to determine their location and distance to object.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to find that book and then present it to Brian, whom else ever. But of course, I'm going through thousands of PDFs I've collected over the last 3-4 years. So anyway, that's the birth of spherical trig was for the moon. Had nothing to do with basic navigation. A basic celestial navigation as far as stars. It was only solely used for the moon. And why that was an issue is they needed a chronometer. So as soon as the Greenwich time was established and the chronometer, which is at sea, they have to keep time precisely. That's when they could start using the spherical trig just for the moon. So I don't know if you guys gotten that much information out of that, but that's what I've so far deduced. So meanwhile, they're using all straight lines and angles, 90 degrees everywhere. And if you look at 3 or 4 multiple observers heading in one point of direction, you've got all those observers are at 90 degree to each other. Like, it's like a box, you know what I mean? If you drew it out, right? If they're all looking for one location, they're all headed to one location, they're using the stars, all those GP positions are at 90. So if you have 3 or 4 observers, they've got 3 or 4 positions at 90. How's that possible on a ball?
You can't, because spherical trigonometry is a paradox.
There was a point you made at the start there, Data.
Did
one dude? I'm just you referred to terrestrial navigation, and that's in relation to what Brian Lieu was saying and what I was saying about height of star. They're very different things, and that's what they conflate in that first little puzzle to us. If we're looking at lighthouses, landmarks, then they do have unknown height above sea level. So we can use that. If we can sight that object, we can use it using terrestrial navigation, which is standard trig, because we do know the height. It is known it is an actual fixed height above. It's not an apparent position based on our field of view. It's an actual real solid place. And that is the difference. So, and that's what they're conflating, as if you don't use real trig in navigation to define your base length. You do, because you've been given the opposite height. It's known, and that makes things a lot simpler, because you're just working with the landmarks around you. It's very different with celestial, because as Brian Lieu was alluding to, we don't know. There is no actual height of that star, because what the angle we're measuring, they're all the same height in the maths we're doing. The height is a distance, or the angle is a distance. It's not a height.
Cool. All right. Who's next? Looks like we dropped a lot of people. I think a couple ballers were in there, and as soon as Betty started going down the list, they kind of scooted. Good idea.
That's what I wanted to see what happened if I went down the list.
Yeah.
Funny how that is. Huh?
Yeah, funny how that is. That's a very wise move.
I wonder if there's such a point to be made. Why don't they show up and defend that point? But only in the sideline and as a keyboard messenger or white knight.
It'll be a General Custer scenario over and over and over again if they do that. And even though they're really, really dumb, they do realize that.
I thought they were friendly Indians.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to say one more thing, if that's okay, man.
God.
If you want to throw them off, if you are having a one-on-one with them, then ask them if the observation point is parallel with the GP, or ask them if the because what they do, what Bob the science guy did, is he basically cuts the top of the plane off. I've had him saying, yeah, it is parallel, and then 5 seconds later, wait, no, it's not parallel. But they chop the top of the ball off like they're slicing an apple, right?
Brian, that's exactly it. They bastardized the Horizon Bob's Whore into a Sagitta, as if that's realistic. I mean, that's not even. This is where they pervert the later navigation books, where they put, the Horizon as the leading edge of a ball. The ballers are now taking that one step further to create these parallel planes, turning the Horizon Whore line into an actual Sagitta between the observer and the GP, which is, I mean, that's not cricket, is it? That is complete baller behavior. That's complete denial.
And when they do that, Adam, and when they do that, you can welcome them to flat Earth, right?
Amen. Yeah.
It's worse than that for them, Brian. Though once they use a chord through a circle or through their sphere, that chord line will be less in distance than the arc that resides above it. So consequently, that does not work. They can't create a circle of equal altitude in that way, because that means that they're using a chord through their circle, and that means the distances and coordinates would never work. So all their distances and coordinates are all out. Now they know this because we've told them this, but yet they're still using that argument other places. I find that pretty cheeky. The chord line is less in distance than the arc that resides above it. So that doesn't work in reality.
All right, it's that conundrum, Brian. Brian, on that point, then, liars or deceivers? Because you see what I mean? It's just, is it dumbness or is it?
Some of them are smart, Adam, and they deceive the rest of them who just want to believe. That's how I view it.
Who are the smart ones? Hold on. No, I can't let that go. Name a smart baller.
Well, I would have said
Depends on what you.
Brian Leakey, your mic is a train wreck, sir. So, go ahead, Brian. Brian's logic. You said some of them are smart. I need you to name one, and then I need you to provide an example.
Well, I would say some of them are smarter than the rest of them. Would be probably a better way to say it, right? And the only example I give of that is Rumpus pretending that the Horizon was a geometric location for years when he knew that it was only in the maths. But yet the rest of them believing it was, and have all them arguing with us for 4 years that it was, or 5 years, that it was a geometric location when he knew that that was only in the maths. That's why he was able to cough it up so fast. So he's smarter than the rest of them, but that doesn't make him any kind of genius. If that saves me.
Are you saying it's a sliding scale?
Yeah, exactly.
I think Ruhif, he's smarter than the average baller, boo-boo. And this is my point. I think if somebody like Ruhif, like Rumpus, constructs these things in an eloquent way, which has, without understanding, a level of plausibility to it, then they're less smarter than the average baller bears. Actually believe the shit that the Ruhifs, the Rumpuses of this world put forward, like I say, and more importantly, as a anti-flat earther rhetoric, not as a ball earth understanding, because it's now contradictory to flat earth and standard mainstream understanding. They've got their own thing, and this is what they put forward, and this is what we see some of the dumber anti-flat earthers or even the standard ball earthers starting to actually ascribe to this nonsense, which is, I say, contradictory to both models and logic.
My goodness. Roofy's dumber than a bag of hammers.
That's what I wanted to say. Define smart. What do you mean? Indoctrinated? Define what you're saying.
Smart, you're trying to not pay him a compliment, and you've got to, unfortunately, because it shows a level of understanding to be able to contort something to trick somebody else.
No, it
certainly
does
smarter
not.
than the average baller. They're not smarter than us because we can see what they're trying to contort and how they've got a lack of understanding, or they're not prepared to give the full understanding to the people they're talking to because it contradicts their point. But that's not to say they're dumb, is what I would say.
It doesn't take none of that. It just takes a convolution of friggin' glossary terms. That's all they do. They're dumber than a bag of hammers. They're friggin' Mexican hairless dogs.
Love the way the only thing we're arguing about is how dumb the ballers are.
You're trying to put
Points
them in the
of
camp.
contention in flat Earth. How stupid are the ballers?
No, there's a contention. The only contentions that's left is you got one camp, you got two camps. You got Nathan's camp, who's calling them all liars, and then you got QE's camp, where I said it's a case of Hanlon's razor, that they're just too stupid. So that's really the only battle left.
And that's probably what the point I was making there then. I think there's those that are putting these arguments, these constructed arguments forward that probably have an understanding of the truth and have to be able to, like I said, with that first problem, to be able to construct the problem in that
Nope,
way.
I'm going to stop you again. Nope, you're saying the same thing again. Nope. All they have to do is identify glossary terms, and that's it. Yeah. And they just convolute the mess. That's all they do.
Wait a second. If somebody goes through schooling and they go through college, they get all their qualifications, does that determine if they're smart or not?
No, you could just memorize and regurgitate most of the way through if you want. You'll get by most classes.
Totally agree.
Thank you.
You'll get by most classes. Now, there are some classes you will not get by, and that is number one, the big one that stands out: organic chemistry. You can't do it.
Yes, pharmacy stuff. Chemists, we have to think. You have to understand and be able to work shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah. With no. Yeah. There isn't. You can't regurgitate. You have to calculate, even in those chemical forms. Totally agree. Yeah. And that's why I give them a level of credit in.
Here we go again.
Adam, stop, Adam.
Oh God, help it, because I know they're coming back. Sorry,
a Glover came back in.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. In 15.
Well, go ahead, open up your mic and tell us how you can get an elevation angle from a curved adjacent. Go on.
I unmuted him.
Yeah. I can't lie. I just joined and I have no idea what we've been talking about.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I do agree with the point that chemistry does require thought. I think another notable field is maths, especially at later levels.
Okay, fair enough. I did want to get to Paul. I see Rags to Riches in here. Paul, I haven't seen you in a while, sir. How are you?
Can't get off mute. Hang on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know if I was on mute. I am doing okay.
Good.
Just busier than a box of rocks.
Yeah, good to see you back. It's good to see you back again, man. You've been missed.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah,
You're welcome.
I've been trying to get back to see what's going on, and I pop in, pop out here and there to see what's happening and see what the arguments are. And I was trying to get my head around what you guys are talking about since I've been out of it. And I did hear a Glover say once that you can't have you don't need the right triangle. I was like, well, if you're going to need a position, you're going to need that right triangle, right? You can't, if you want to know where you're going, you got to have it. That's what I first thought I had. And it's also good to hear that since I've said, I guess, several years ago that you can't have an angle on a curved surface. I remember saying that.
Oh, now Paul wants to take credit for it. Jesus.
Good on you, Paul, if you said it. Good on you.
Shit, it was Betty who first said it, from what I heard.
Oh.
Absolutely.
It might have been Betty.
No, Paul, that's okay.
I think, Paul, with that level of cheek for a posthumous claim like that, you deserve it just for trying to claim it, mate.
Wait a second. Yeah. Let Betty have the floor, because she did say Betty was... Go ahead, Betty.
What did I say?
You told me that you brought up the Sextant argument to me a while ago. I mean, we're talking...
Yeah, 2016, right? I think.
2016.
You came on the scene, and then you were not having a channel. You were, I think you went to Texas's channel, and we were like in the chat underneath these videos, and we had some German guys that you were like, how do you always say that? Like on the short hairs, something with dragging them on the short hairs, or
whipping around by their short hairs.
Yeah, and they are all over that whole thing with the sextant and stuff. And I said, well, yeah, of course, I mean, you need to have that right angle, right? And a flat surface to begin with.
And
But,
I didn't catch up.
You didn't want to get into that because you were on a totally different game back then. It's all about gravity, and that had to be debunked first.
Yeah.
I think we stupid that to death. Right?
Yeah. And science, I guess I was myopic in my thinking, but I'll grant you that if you said I don't remember that, but since you said it, I believe that that did happen. So, yep. But Betty, there you go.
The gyro compass.
Do you guys ever remember me bringing up the fifth postulate or the parallel postulate with Bernard Riemann years ago, where Bernard Riemann even wrote in paperwork, he says all of the instruments on Earth, astrolabe, sextant, are all fine for terrestrial navigation because everything is straight lines and angles. They had to devise hyperbolic geometry, spherical geometry to use calculations for the celestials. And one of the first ways they did that was once they invented the chronometer, they could now calculate for the moon orbit.
You already said that
earlier. I said this years ago. So this comes down to the parallel postulate argument and the invention of spherical geometry, or the application of spherical geometry.
You can't apply something that is a paradox.
Quick question. What year was that data? Just in terms, the...
Well, Bernard Riemann was early 1800s. This is the speech that I read in a book where he was talking about being localized to a terrestrial environment, and that the math wasn't good enough for the heavens. So they needed to devise a way. This is what he said, and then hyperbolic geometry came out of this, and I think some Dutch and Danish guys invented it, and then
the Dutch.
It went on from there. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it went on from there. But this all came from the 1300s originally, from Euclid's principles. Everybody sort of hated the fifth postulate, which is all to that 90-degree
right.
Line, 90 degree, right, at making a straight line sort of thing.
So
and now taking that.
So hold up, are you saying that it was the Dutch purebreds that brought up spherical geometry?
Well, hyperbolic first, yes.
Oh, hyperbolic. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, we're getting close. Why does that not surprise me?
But truly, it's the admission that the instruments that we used for navigation, like the astrolabe and like the sextant, had a limitation according to Bernard Riemann, right? Because they couldn't be used to map out the stars, so they had to come up with other calculations. This is out of his mouth. Now, if you look back, they had spherical trigonometry in the Greek days, but it wasn't applied. It wasn't applied to the way that I think people are.
I don't know how you can apply a paradox. That's a neat trick.
Spherical trigonometry? How's that work?
Historically, that's interesting data. That's interesting. That's why I asked the date, because
it started in the 1300s. Really, all of this, like if you look at the study of the sun and Alima, it was done by the Arabics. And if you dig up the paperwork when they first studied the sun and Alima, there was no Earth rotation in it. It was just the pattern of the sun movement. I'd have to go back. This is years when I got into flat Earth to find out the origins of all this debate, right? Because it's really just two primitives of thought, right down to Anaximenes and Pythagoras, right? This is all I have access to, being a laptop warrior, and then hopefully scouring secondhand stores, finding old historical encyclopedias before.
But you got this information somewhere, right?
The information that I find tells this.
He just whistled right by it.
And
you got this information, right?
YouTube tutorials, YouTube videos that give you a history.
God.
Anyway, it all came to the 1300s. This whole argument, they really didn't like the fifth postulate.
Thanks, appreciate it. Jesus. So
you tend to go on and on.
Now that I got your attention by muting you, now. That's great that you got this information. I would like you to go back and get that information, search that information out, and please PM me or Adam with that information if you can. Now, I'm not putting a time limit on it. Whenever you get the chance, you might be a busy man. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, here what I'll give you the insight. Just go look at the study of the sun and Alima and the first who did it, the Arabics. It's in their math, it's in their description, the translation. Go there. Start there, because that's the birth of it, really.
Adam.
The sun and Alima, in my opinion, that's the birth of it all. So 1300s.
Okay. Adam,
Well,
you need...
can I ask a question here?
Oh, God.
Oh, God. No, just me.
Yeah, my son.
When we're talking about Sun and Alima, I mean, are you saying this is the Arabs that are first postulating this is due to orbital change of the Earth around the Sun, as opposed to the understood mechanism of the transition between the tropics?
I believe what the paperwork showed, from my recollection, this is years that I haven't seen it. It first shows that you have to have a stationary Earth to get the movement first. Okay, you have to have one position stationary. You can't study the movement of a body if one body is moving as well. It won't work in the math. So I think they took that information, and then you can have two models. It's no different than Ptolemy's work, or no, sorry, Kepler's work, where he, in his written work, he has two models. He has the Earth is stationary, so you can calculate the sun along the ecliptic, and then the reverse of that, where he's taking the Earth and put it upon the sun's path. It shows sort of the same concept, but it started in the 1300s. Now, I look, this is years ago that I looked at the math, and I'm no mathematician by no means, but this is what I deduced from reading it and applying the story they tell you about it, plus applying somewhat of the math that I did know, and then coming across hyperbolic geometry, coming across Bernard Riemann. It all seems to kind of revolve around that fifth postulate. They really didn't like that fifth postulate, which is the parallel postulate.
Yep, good.
Can I add a little bit of clarity?
Oh, God.
I'm always quick. I'm always quick. If you want.
If it's quick, how do you define quick?
Quicker than the other lads.
Go ahead.
Yeah, very quick. Yes, I do remember Data talking about that postulate several years ago, about 2017. Yes, I do remember you talking about that data. But I think Betty beats you at 2016. Secondly, the solar analemia, as in Kepler's, he had to take angles to the sun, right? Observations, angles to the sun, right? To work out exactly what was going on with it. But he already had that information. Like, the claim is he took angles. He already had that information because he got it from astrology, who already had it. And he got it from Tycho Brahe, who was also an astrologer, right? And that involves the sun moving around a stationary Earth. He just back engineered it into the Copernican model and created his analemia. That's why they have the 23.4 degree tilt, and they have this closer and further globe out to the sun throughout their solar year. Thank you, QE.
You're welcome.
Right, I'm not done yet.
Oh, you are.
No, this is the point of the question, genuinely, right? And this is why I asked for the dates. You're talking about a 1300 problem, and then you're talking about the re-emergence of that problem after the reconstruction of how we navigate in the 1800s, after we've done the stuff in the 1750s, where we've introduced practical chronometers to be the root of navigation. Because prior to then, we're not using chronometers to define longitude and latitudes. We're not. There isn't the use of a manual chronometer. We're using astrolabes and the stars still. That's taken out, and that's why I find that interesting, that you've got this use of the moon, which is described, I think, in the 1400s to use to define time. That they're trying to fix this and then build it in, as they are saying, with some kind of spherical solutions in the 1800s that they're putting this in.
That's exactly right, because this is what I'm trying to find that book. I didn't know you guys were going to be talking about this, but I found it quite interesting that without Greenwich time being established for the base, and then without having the chronometer to keep accurate time from Greenwich time, there would be no way to map out the movement of the moon to find position on Earth. So with the invention of the chronometer and the establishment of the Greenwich hour angle or whatever, they can finally deduce the orbital path of the moon and find your position on Earth, which is, once you map it out, then it becomes pretty basic, and that's based on, you know, GHA and your chronometer. So
Good,
Hey,
good, good.
We're
Nope.
talking about this time period.
Nope,
Is
that's
this
I'm going to mute you. No, we're not going anymore. That's it. So we're going to end the show. Betty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. It didn't even take scripture this time. I'm on to you.
As far as you know.
So, yeah.
Oh, no, I did have a cracking bit of scripture, actually.
Yeah, I bet you did. So, let's go ahead and wrap.
Maccabees 1.
Let's go. I'm going to mute him. So,
he's getting out of line, isn't he?
yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up because we've been going for a bit here. We don't want to get too far off the topic, and we do want to touch on what's happening this week. So go ahead, Betty.
Right?
I didn't hear you. I was talking. Go ahead.
It all seems to be rumpusing in the end. Well, I said, otherwise you don't have any content for next week, so let's not exhaust this topic overnight. Huh?
I've got content coming out the gills.
Yeah, you say that, but
yeah, I do say that, and I support it too. So,
a lot of competition, yeah.
So, speaking of content, what about the content this Thursday? Are you running a show this Thursday or not?
No. I need to get more information. I have been relaxing a little bit, slacking, like a sloth. And I have to pack it up in the slothness and then go back to work, basically.
Okay. So what we got this week, folks, nothing on Thursday, and Saturday we're going to try to finish up the logical fallacy presentation. We got into it. There was no hope last week to finish that up or even to begin it because we were enthralled with the numpty dipshittery that we went over previously with the elevation angles. I want to thank everybody for popping on the show. Appreciate it. It was a lot of good conversation. Who's talking?
Me.
Good.
Yeah, so I won't be there next week, so so that people know, at least. I don't know if you're going to have the show, but so you know that I won't be shouting out any super chats then.
So next Tuesday, we're going to have a stand-in for Betty.
Yeah, so who's up for that?
We need a purebred.
Well, that might be Adam then.
Can't be. He's a mongrel. Yeah, it was a really good show. I enjoyed it. Thanks, guys. We're going to roll on out of here. I'm not going to leave you with Bob, the pseudoscience fallacy fuckwit guy again. I'm not going to do that to you. But I am going to leave you with the death knell to the spinning space monkey baltars. It's all over here, folks. I'm going to play it for you again. Make sure you pay close attention. It's about elevation angles and you're on your sphere. Okay? You ready for it again? I don't think you're ready for this. Let's try it anyway. Here we go.
Okay, to briefly touch on what the guys over at Flat Earth Debate have been saying, we're going to use the exact same examples of the GP positions here. I'm going to look at it from an orthographic view. Okay, if we're standing here on the Earth, this is the angle to the celestial body. Let's take a line from our position, representing the horizon. The angle formed here is definitely not 90 degrees. And even at the position where it meets the Earth, you can't have a 90-degree angle to a curved surface. And AutoCAD will actually verify this, because if I choose the angular dimension command, and I pick this line and this line, it will give me an angle between them. If I try to pick this line and this arc, it says here, object selected is not a line. So it will just not give me an angle. And why would it? How could it? The angle will be different at every single point on that arc. So the question is, to the people who believe we live on a globe: 1. Where are you getting your 90 degrees? 2. Where are you getting your straight line to form the 90 degrees? And 3. Where are you getting your circle of equal altitude? Because from what I'm seeing, none of them are available to us using a sphere. Thanks for watching, folks.